We have 5 new Star Wars Galaxy of Adventure shorts released. You heard us last week talk about the first 6 that dropped. Absolutely love them. Let's go ahead. Let's dive right into the very first one, Jordan. And this is Princess Leia versus Darth Vader, a fearless leader. David, let's start with you. What do you think about it, man?
I really like the cut. Of the 5 that were released this week, this is probably my second to least favorite. However, I really liked all of them, so that's still high compliment. I don't know if I missed it last week when I was watching the first 6, but the narrator that they have, I don't like. I don't know. His voice just...
Well, there's 2 different ones. There's Dante Bosco, who's Rufio, and the guy from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Whoever was in this one, because I particularly noted that it stuck out to me as something that jarred against the rest of the clip. But I really, really like this animation style. So I dig this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. This is Princess Leia, Darth Vader on the Tantive 4. It was kind of cool.
I like how much action you see Leia doing. You're taking a shot now. It was a pose of her, blasting some stormtroopers. She's leading some rebels through the Tantive 4. Mm-hmm. It's a couple of sequences that you don't see in the original movie. So Jesse, you watch this short. Do you like how it kind of expands Leia here?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it just kind of it adds to the character and just her strength and everything. Again, I have to agree with David Gilbert. I really actually am enjoying this animation method for these. There's like a fun element, but there's also a lot of creative things you can do with the lighting. And that's something that's been very consistent with all these that I've seen so far is just it definitely grabs your attention when you watch these.
What I liked about this, and you're seeing the photo still rolling on your screen, the last clip is kind of like Leia smirking as she walks away from Vader. And what makes me laugh about that is thinking that when you watch Star Wars, the actual movie, and you see her being taken away from the stormtroopers, this short suggests that it was part of the plan that Leia be captured. That the Vader is like, take her away. In this short, he's like, take her away. She's walking off, and she gives a smirk, which alludes to us, the viewer, suggesting that was part of the plan. And so that was really exciting. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is Luke Skywalker versus the Death Star. And right off the bat, I love the animation here because you're seeing the detail of the X-Wings. If you go and watch this short, the CGI is pretty impressive with the various shots here, but the space battle looks really stellar. Jesse, first thoughts with Luke taking on the Death Star?
When this opened up, for one, this is one of my favorite all-time scenes in any Star Wars movie is when the X-Wings are getting ready to attack the first Death Star and everything. They're doing their call signs and reporting in. And then seeing it in like this animation, it actually reminded me of like that fan short they had for like a TIE Fighter thing. You can kind of find it on YouTube. It's really cool. And I was like, this is going to be cool. Like I was actually kind of on my seat for this and everything. I just really loved it all together. So
this is my second favorite one of this batch, David. What do you think of our old farm boy taking on the Death Star?
Jesse commented on the last video about the lighting that they could do, and this video struck me with that because you can see the flashes of color going across Darth Vader's eyes and the reflection of the helmet. I think I almost enjoy this animated short better than the actual scene in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I just think it was really well done. There's a lot that they were able to do on the animation style.
That's pretty high praise. That is pretty high praise.
I just have to say, I much prefer these than the Forces of Destiny that came out earlier this spring.
I think if this art style had been used for the Forces of Destiny, they would have been a lot more successful. Let's go on to the next one. This is Han Solo, Galaxy's Best Smuggler. David, we're going to start with you on this one. I enjoyed it because there were moments where I felt like Han was portrayed as that swashbuckler. I think of this shot here where he's on the landing platform of the Falcon as it's starting to take off out of Mos Eisley. What's your take?
I thought it was really cool that they brought in some scenes from the Solo movie and that they interspersed that as he's being cocky talking in the cantina with Obi-Wan and Luke. And I thought that was really cool for somebody who's getting into Star Wars, which is kind of where these are geared towards, that you get to see him be that smarmy, SOB, but then they've got the little clips in between that kind of show why he deserves to be that way.
And I think that's a very legitimate point to have, especially because as time goes on, how do you better incorporate all these side stories? And no matter your thoughts on Solo, this animated short does a really nice job of of tying those two movies together, A New Hope and The Solo. So great observation there, David. What's your take, Jesse? Because you're seeing these clips on your screen right now. What's your take on the Galaxy's Best Smuggler?
This was actually, out of this batch, my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah, mainly because just, again, the scenes and dialogue and everything really helped this out. In particular, I think it's when one of the stills here where he's kind of like all cocky, like leaning into like the Katina cubby and everything. Right. You just get that smuggler vibe from him, that very arrogant, feel, very grungy, kind of feel, even just, from an animated short and everything. I really enjoyed that.
I love seeing him take down those stormtroopers. I just love it. The whole thing, the whole short is pretty great. The next one up, we have Chewbacca versus the Hollow Chess. And for me, this is one of those iconic, let the Wookiee win. This is an iconic moment of Star Wars, and again, that's the whole point of these Galaxy of Adventure shorts, is we're taking iconic moments and we're reimagining them. Jesse, I think this is the one that you need to start on. What's your take, man? Because of the short, you had suggested that we change our show table to a hollow chest.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if the table kind of looked like a hollow chest table, or like one of those like cantina tables? And I'm totally actually going to look into that because I think it'd be kind of fun. But
so, what does the short do for you? Does it titillate you?
It's fun. I definitely, it's definitely a reminder, always let the Wookiee win, for starters. This was actually, I enjoyed it, but it was actually kind of ranked lower as out of this batch for me, simply because I don't know if I really needed this scene as a quick animated short. But I could see where, I think kids love Chewbacca.
They do. For me, the Chewie is a hard character to relate to, and I feel that they are making an effort to push Chewie a little bit more, which is fine because Chewie has gotten the shaft a lot. But the more I get of Chewie, the less I'm like, or the more I'm just like, maybe there's good reason why Chewie had less time in the spotlight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But David, what do you think about Chewie? I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead. Why do you like this short?
Why do I like this short?
Yes.
I'm going to dub it the Chewie Fury montage, where you just get these little cutscenes of him bashing people's heads together and wreaking havoc. And that was a saving grace for me for this one. Beyond that, this has probably been the weakest of the 11 we've had so far, for me, if I don't bump my microphone around. And it's for as much as I like this animation style, there's something about Chewie's face that I just don't like. And it bothered me the whole time.
And that's the difference between you at 30 and a 9-year-old, because the 9-year-old's really not going to be paying attention to that.
Right.
They're just going to be like, oh my gosh,
oh, look at that. He just took 2 stormtroopers and psh.
I like the fact that in this short you see a sequence of moments where Chewie is bashing people in the head. And there's a couple where it's the perspective of the person being bashed. So there's, he gets run into by the little droid on the Death Star and he growls at that. And then you see the scene where he's choking out Lando on Bespin, but it's the shot of the angle is like looking down, so like you're getting Lando's perspective of getting choked out by Chewie, and I think that's hysterical. Like I thought that was actually like really well done, and I think this one was definitely maybe done with more tongue in cheek. This short was a little bit more about the humor, but that's good. I think that's a good blend because we have seen that some of these shorts get darker, and that leads us into the last one of the 5 here. We have Luke Skywalker versus Emperor Palpatine. We just want to leave the video rolling on this one, Jordan, because I think we're going to be just ranting and raving about this one. My goodness, I thought this really captured the fear I remember watching when I first watched Return of the Jedi.
I love this one.
I think that when you talk about the lighting, David and Jesse, this is what we get with all the lightsabers and the light shifting. But I want to start with David on this one. We get a really interesting presentation of how this has all gone according to plan for the Emperor. Can you kind of explain that?
So it's a montage clip like all the rest of them, and you get to see him whispering in ears. You get to see him coordinating with the different military people. And then my favorite shot of this one is at the end when he's wearing his red hood in the middle of the Senate, and it slowly fades back to him on the Death Star with Luke and Vader, where it's like the same picture, same face, just changes the color of the hood from the red to black in the background. Just so cool. I love that we have his lightsaber out a whole lot, fighting people. To me, there's just A+.
David is so overwhelmed with emotion right now. I liked kind of what David mentioned. You know, you see him whispering into Padme's ear, Queen Amidala's ear, in Phantom Menace. You see him overlooking the clone army and attacking the clones. You see his transition from, you know, the Chancellor to the Emperor in Revenge of the Sith. And you really, for me, it was reinforcement of just how well thought out Palpatine's line is. Mm-hmm. George Lucas did an incredible job of giving you this terrifying evil person in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But then to go in the prequels, and one thing that is done so successfully is fleshing out the backstory of the Emperor, because that was what stuck out to me, because you really see how he manipulated not just a group of people, he manipulated the entire galaxy. Mm-hmm. He convinced the galaxy to put him into this power, and I don't know, I think it helps my experience. The next time I watch Return of the Jedi, I think this short will help that. Jesse, what's your take, man? Because I think a scene in this that you would really latch on to would be at the end when they clash the lightsabers, and just that face of the Emperor behind was just wicked,
you
man.
Nailed it right on the head there. That's actually like, that moment was like, yes. But I'm 100% in agreement with you guys about this. Was a very nice montage of displaying Palpatine's ability to control and manipulate everything, to orchestrate things. And if you never pick that up just from watching the movies, like if you see this and go, oh, like now you totally need to go back and watch the movies, because like, you know, seeing all these little things, like you sit there and you think of those key moments where he's like, if only Senator Amidala was here, you know, like, and that makes Jar Jar Binks thinks that Padme would have voted for the emergency powers when she probably wouldn't have if she was there, you know. But poor Jar Jar really isn't the most educated individual, and you know, he falls for that. He's a victim of that manipulation, and you know, and even his own story later on, it's shown that he gets blamed for this whole whole war.
Well, those are the 5 new shorts of the second batch of Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures. We are told that there are more of these shorts on the way. We were told that there would be more released here in December and more in 2019. Well, that was last week. And so here we are a week later, we have 5 more. Mm-hmm. Possibility that we get more this year? Definitely a possibility. But for sure, there are more shorts on the way in 2019, and we'll be sure to break them down. We'd like to know what you think. If you're joining us in the live chat, be sure you comment in the live chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Also, when the show ends, be sure you go back in and comment on the video, so that way we can continue that Star Wars conversation. Of course, if you are catching us on the rewind, make sure you comment below so we can find out what you are thinking.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.